Jim, you have a film you were trying to put together. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we're doing a film that I wrote 3 years ago called The Mansion.
Hmm.
It's a ghost story. It was all cast, ready to go, had approval by ACTRA, and COVID reared its ugly head. And so for the past 2.5 years, it's just been sitting on the shelf. Now that COVID seems to have lessened a bit, we've taken it out of mothballs and we're all set to shoot it November 26th.
Where are you going to shoot it?
Well, it's going to be a couple locations. We're shooting mostly around Copeland Street. We're doing the interior locations at my house. We're setting it up to look like a 1930s living room.
Hmm.
We're doing one scene at the old Nugget office, another one in the press room, and then we got exterior scenes on Copeland Street. So it should be okay. We're all set to go.
Oh, cool. How do you finance one of these things?
That is the bugbear. 3 years ago, it was all finance. And of course, due to COVID, I spent most of the damn money. So we're starting from square one again. Um, Usually what I do is I usually pay for the whole thing. I put my money into it. But since I retired from the agency business, I just decided, yeah, maybe I'm going to try and use somebody else's money to help out a little bit. So we're looking at trying to do a GoFundMe or maybe some sort of selling shares to the film. I should point out we never make any money on these films. If we do make money, we have to share it equally with the actors in the show. And anything over and above that, then we can donate to charity that we wish to send it to.
Are you doing it to help any particular charities?
Well, no, there's a couple that I really have a kind of an emotional tie to, and the ALS Society is one of the groups that I think that we could donate to. Actually, that's probably the only group that we're going to donate any profits to. In the past, we have donated our shows to Alzheimer's Society, and we gave them DVDs, not dividends, DVDs that they were able to sell as a
Right.
fundraiser.
You had a movie about Alzheimer's.
We did.
Yeah,
We
I
did.
can't remember the
It was
name.
called Strangers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that was so excellent.
it was a nice show. The funny part was I had just had my gallbladder out 2 days before, so I did the whole show sitting down. So the director Kevin Hoffman rearranged everything, reblocked everything, so that I could just sit down.
Wow. And well, your partner was in it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Claire, my wife,
Yeah.
Claire played the opposite me.
Oh, well, it is close to my heart there. My dad passed with dementia.
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
had family members too. It's a terrible disease, and hopefully they'll get a cure at some point.
What's ALS?
I can't say though. It's a gradual deterioration of your motor neurons. I believe you lose your speech, you lose your muscular control. Ultimately, you end up in a wheelchair. Stephen Hawking, remember him?
Hmm.
He had AIDS.
Hmm.
And they say that the average lifespan is 2 to 5 years. Hawking's lasted a lot longer. So I think a lot depends on the person who's affected with it. But it's an insidious, terrible disease, and we've got to get a cure.
Wow. Well, tell me about the Boo Scary movie.
Oh, it's a really scary movie. Yes, it is. I sound like I'm doing the House of Frightenstein. Um, we have an older home on our street that I really love. It used to be called Senator Gordon Estate.
Right.
It's in the west end of the city. Beautiful old home. And I've always, even since I was a kid, I always thought it was a haunted house. But I know the owners, and I know it's not haunted. Maybe it is. Maybe I don't know the owners. The owners. Yeah. So we don't have to shoot inside. We just want to shoot the exterior of it. And it's a story of a newspaper reporter who works at the North Bay Daily News, which is going to be the Nugget office. And he's a bit of a skeptic. And his editor comes in and asks him to do a story on the hauntings of this house. So he doesn't want to do it, but ultimately he decides to do so. So he goes to the house, enters, and meets the old lady and her daughter who live in that house. And that's what the whole story goes around that. I can't tell you much more because it's got a tricky ending.
I think there's a better name for the newspaper, though. You know, the first newspapers in North Bay were called the North Bay Times
Yeah.
and the North Bay Dispatch. Yeah.
Well, as of right now, I'm going to call it the
18,
North Star Daily. How's that?
well, yeah, sure. That works for you.
We got to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit different. And I'm sure that restaurant will help like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, my agency used to be called North Star Agency.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So the restaurant stole it from me. Well, probably not. There's a lot of North Stars all over the place.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's right on. Have you picked your cast yet?
Yeah, we've picked the cast. They're all from my old agency, which has now been turned into the Nexus agency. And this is called an actors co-op, which means that it's a professional shoot, but every actor in it has to belong to ACTRA, which is the actors union. And the way it works in a co-op is they don't get paid, but they get equal shares in the profits if there are any. Generally, there aren't profits. It's a short film, but sometimes you can use the film for fundraising, such as we did for Strangers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all the actors, they're North Bay natives. They've been around for a long time. They're people that I knew even when I started the agency in 2011.
Hmm.
So they've matured, they've come along, they've got their own careers going, they're doing quite well.
So you're going to start shooting just after Halloween?
No, I originally, that's funny you mentioned that because I originally wrote it to be shot on Halloween
Yeah,
and it was going to be a Halloween gala that the writer was supposed to attend. Then I decided to go away for a month.
yeah.
So I'm going to Victoria. So it's now going to be a Christmas gala that we're dealing with. And there are ghosts at Christmas. And I heard that.
There are ghosts.
Oh, apparently there are.
There are ghosts at Christmas
Yeah.
for sure. One wears a red suit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I played him in a couple of movies, actually.
So are you involved in anything else right now?
Um,
There's a lot of movie stuff
there's a
going on,
lot going on. Well, I did get cast in that series, Essex County.
right?
I was really happy about that. It was supposed to be shooting September 26th, but they rewrote my role, which meant that I was no longer employed. But according to the contract, they have to pay me for it anyway. So basically, I'm going to be sitting on my bum on the 26th of September collecting a paycheck for something I didn't do.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. If I could do that for really high budget films once a month, I'd be golden, Yeah.
Me for the role you're writing out.
It's happened before. It's happened
Yeah,
before. That's the rule. If you're hired and you've got a contract and somehow your part is canceled, you still get paid.
oh,
But you don't get paid what they call a buyout because when you get hired, you get a daily wage. Let's say for an actor, it's $750 for the day.
hmm,
Then a buyout is based on anywhere from 50 to 150%.
right.
So usually you'll walk away with $1,500 for the day,
Mm.
which is a nice piece of change.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, I always tell everybody, say, gee, you're making $1,000,000. They know. I don't work every day.
yeah,
Sometimes I don't work every month. For actors in Northern Ontario, 90% of the time, you're not working.
yeah.
You're unemployed.
Similar to freelancers.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. And you have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Well, it's great to see all the movies in town and what's going on, and glad to hear that you got another one coming.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. When you think of where we started years ago with very little filming, I know when I was in Toronto, I moved back after 9/11 because there was no work in Toronto. And Bill Plumstead, you might know Bill, came up
Hmm.
to me one day. I didn't know him. He said, read my script. Can I do a movie? I read it that night. And I said, yeah. And he did it. He did the movie. And on the basis of that, all of a sudden, movie companies started to realize it was a talent base in North Bay and it was a great location. And the city came forward too, of course. Vic Fideli at the time was mayor. So he
What
put
was the
up
name of that movie?
Like Beautiful Somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great show. We filmed it here and we filmed it in Temagami.
Right, right.
And the southern crew found out a thing about shooting in the north in October that when you put a boat in the water in October, you might have to chop out the ice.
Yeah. There's some traditional knowledge you can gain.
That's right. And they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
They had
yeah,
no idea. They had no conception of distance either.
yeah,
They thought, if we're going to change locations, you're going to have to take a day to pack up and move someplace. And I said, no, it's like 20 minutes outside of the city or in pristine forest.
yeah,
And that became a selling point for a lot of movies.
yeah.
That
You got a lot of options within reach.
Exactly. Yeah. This city is really, it's at the forefront of filmmaking. And I think people are starting to realize it. Unfortunately, I'm past my prime. If I was 30 years younger, I think I could really capitalize on it.
Well, I'm sure there's roles for old folks like you.
Well, there might be. Yeah. I think actually, my wife told me very simply, she said, you're no longer the boy next door. You're just kind of like the grumpy old grandfather. So
Being grumpy.
Edward Exner did it for how many years? 50 years. He
Yeah.
played the grumpy old guy.
Yeah, yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something we can do in the media business there someday. I'd like to collaborate with you one day.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Very interested. It's funny. We're just talking about collaboration. I talked to a man at one of the businesses downtown, and I just happened to mention I was looking for I-95 masks. N95? 85 masks, anyway. And he said, well, gee, I wrote a script. I said, well, you did? He said, yeah. So he sent it to me, and it's really good. And this is a guy I just met. So how many more writers are there in North Bay
There's
that,
a ton.
yeah,
Yeah.
there has
And,
to be a ton.
like, yeah, there's a lot of people that would hold back even telling somebody to
Yeah,
get a script out of fear of,
yeah.
not making it and it being sort of criticized and that kind of thing.
That's unfortunate
Yeah.
because, I think that people would find that most people are very supportive of
Hmm.
people in the arts. I mean, look around. There's all kinds of grants and systems. There's so many art groups in North Bay and theater groups and programs and stuff. So, we should be fostering and enabling people to work in that creative side of the arts.
I would say so.
Mhm.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you get going there.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming to the small town studio.
Well, I like this studio. It's great.
Yeah, we're just in deadline for the fall edition for the
Okay.
Back in the Bay magazines. I'll
Super,
be dropping it off
which I
soon.
really like. And the next time we do this, I'll try not to spill coffee all over myself. So,
Cool. Yeah, that's okay. That doesn't mean I won't.
no, not on me though. You spill it on yourself. Yeah.
Well, anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was
My sponsors, Tim Hortons, they advertise in the magazine. Yes,
shit. I
yeah,
wonder if they would like to advertise in a film.
I bet you they would.